Hey class, for multi-engine instructor, I think a lot of people they follow one of two paths. Either go through and take their CFI and then go right into multi-engine and then do their multi-engine instructor, or they take another route and they've been a CFI for a little while, maybe already have their multi and they flip over. I've done this path a little bit different. I did my CFI completed last spring. Prior to that, in the summer, almost a year and a half ago now, I completed my multi-engine. One of the hurdles I'm running into is, of course, not being proficient in the multi-engine. The first flight was just kind of getting my feet wet again. But really, the biggest hurdle that I'm running into is my flight school acquired a new aircraft since my multi-engine. The aircraft on the left, seen in this picture here, the Twin Comanche, that's what I got my multi-engine in. Old bird, she was pretty good to me though. And on the right-hand side here is the Diamond DA-42. That's their newest purchase. Beautiful aircraft, just taking a little bit of learning, really diving into the POH, trying to iron out some details with it, just trying to get familiar with it. So being new to this aircraft, I really tried to dive into the POH before we got going, so I at least knew the basics of it before we got up into the air. And of course, going in, I knew it ran on Jet A. We had to call and have the fuel truck come over instead of being able to use our fuel system that we have there at the FTA. Um, so I knew it ran on Jet A. I knew it was a turbocharged 135 horse aside. One thing I didn't know was this engine actually has coolant. That was new to me. I was unaware and honestly had overlooked this little section in the POH. Uh, but we dove into it when I was asked the question, how do we get heat into the aircraft? Flying in the wintertime in Minnesota, that really does matter. And knowing how the system works, now knowing how the system works, there's a heat exchanger within the coolant, very similar to how it would operate in your automobile. Basically, it's ram air that's forced in the front of the cowling in front of each engine, forces over the radiator or the heat exchanger rather, and forces that hot air into the cabin of the aircraft. There were a couple of other new things for me to learn with this aircraft, just getting into the training. And again, this one here more so just to show something. On the slide here is a picture just depicting that spins are not approved in this, as is the case with all twins that I'm aware of, and outside of aerobatics. Um, but something also that I couldn't find anywhere in the POH is short field takeoff. Short field takeoff, there is not a procedure for the DA-42 in the POH. Therefore, it's one item that I won't be able to be tested on with my DPE. There's a couple other things that my instructor said we'll go over as we go along, but there's a few things that are unique to the aircraft, such as that there is no short field takeoff procedure for the DA-42. In all, going through and learning on this new airframe has been pretty exciting. Learning more about a FADEC system and not having to worry about four levers, just having two is pretty cool. But really diving into the electrical and the systems and how it works has been pretty interesting but challenging at the same time.